Okay, so painting up some Deathcult assassins. This is kind of a random thing that I just so happen to have because I like collecting all of GW's like strange humans and everything. And yeah, I like the idea of these Deathcult assassins. I like that most of them are former heretics and a lot of them are still heretics. And some of them are just loyal to the Imperium. There's actually a little bit of stuff still on this one that I have to cut off. Oh wait, nope, that's her sword. These are fine cast, so I do apologize about everything. So if there's a little bit of bubbling and everything in it, there's not much I can do. Potentially green stuff it, but that's about it. So if you're watching this as some kind of painting tutorial, I want to tell you right now, you probably shouldn't. I'm not an expert painter by any means, and I'm trying to find my black right now, which is mysteriously mysterious and vanished. Where the heck is my black? Is this it? Yeah, there it is. Okay. So I'm just going to paint it just like the, well, sort of like the picture itself. I kind of like their look. And I'm going to kind of go from there. So, one of the things that I'm going to need is something for a palette, which I have nothing conveniently. So I got something to use. I actually use a giant oval base because it kind of just comes in handy for this. I find them to be really useful, to be honest. I'm just going to put a little bit of water on there and a touch of black. Just a bit to get the nice consistency. I think Duncan would be proud of me right now. And we're going to be doing this one. So right off the bat, the things that I want to paint black are going to be her legs for the most part. So let's go ahead. Actually, do I want to do those as skin tone? Ooh, I just got a better idea. Ooh, this is a much better idea. Oh my god, this is a much better idea. Okay, we're going to do her boots black. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and just get the entirety of the boot. There we go. Oh, one of the other things is I stopped putting characters on 25mm bases, and anything that is... I stopped putting things on 25mm bases. I don't like 25mm, and I know technically it gives me an advantage and whatever, and insert reason here, but I, for the most part, am never going to take most of these characters and most of these troops to tournaments. My sister Battle Army is my tournament army for the most part, so I never really saw what I was doing as wrong, and I kind of like 32 bases a little bit more. They build up more character than anything else. I'm trying to get this nice and even right here. Go. Just getting her boot painted. Now the other one. But yeah, so I just wanted to mention that. There's a little bit of stuff still on there. I got most of this stuff off. I went through for like 10-15 minutes to get off a lot of this stuff. It always takes me that long to get this stuff off. Okay. Go to the other side really quickly. Paint up the rest of the heel. I love that she's in heels, by the way. I love heels myself, and I love characters in heels. It accentuates that they are, in fact, female. But not only that, for some reason, the black heels of like Sisters of Battle and things of that nature have always felt like more powerful to me. My reasoning for that is pretty simple. They just look like badass bikers. And bikers are scary. Sometimes. Okay. Actually, I have a pair of heels just like this, which is really funny. So next I'm going to look for anything else on this girl that might be black. And to be honest, I'm not seeing too much, so I'm going to go through with the skin tone next. And I'm going to make her pale, and I'm going to make the other one darker skinned. And it's mostly because I like diversity and everything. If you notice my Sisters of Battle, I have one Canoness that's darker skinned, one that's lighter skinned. All of my Repentia are a mix of races. All of my sisters, where you can see their faces, are a mix of races. I don't like them just being one thing. So I'm probably going to use Cadian Flesh Tone, or do I want to use... I'm going to use Kevlin Flesh, because this one's much lighter. So again, let's pop it open. Let's throw our paintbrush across the room. Put a little bit of water on here. I should be using a wet palette. This would probably be easier with a wet palette. I know a lot of people tell me to use a wet palette, but honestly, I just should. That's just the thing, I should. So, now for this, I want to do all the places that I want as skin, which is going to be this leg right here. It's actually a little bit too watered down. Let's go ahead and go like that. So, yeah, let's get this leg. Because I am digging the idea that she has a bunch of scars on her leg. There we go. And of course I immediately messed it up by getting it on the black. But that's fine because we will be doing cleanup on this model. I am essentially making her almost fully naked. I just realized that. Oh well. I mean, she is a death cultist. She wants to die. They see their life as blasphemy. That's an actual thing, by the way. That is how they view their own life. Them living is blasphemy to the Emperor. So they go out of their way to do dangerous and silly things, collecting skulls and whatever, to make sure that they can repay the Emperor. Which honestly, I truly love that type of lore, because that is the grimdark of 40k that I really enjoy. And keep in mind, death cults aren't entirely just women. There are men in death cults. So you can get male death cult assassins. Just easiest way to make them, take a guard, put 2 swords on them. Or take one of the acolyte models and do the same thing. Go through over here. Boop. There we go. I'm really digging this death cultist, actually. I love the idea of death cults. Not in real life, obviously. Jeez, that would be terrible. But in 40k itself, like, the death cult temples are just crazy people. And we are essentially painting this model entirely naked. And I am okay with this. Keep in mind, I never see nudity as too big of a problem in 40k. I know that GW has tried to stray away from it, but some of the most loved and cherished models are the 1DS Daemons, which are almost all fully naked. So I just don't see them as too big of a problem. Me personally, I think nudity would be within 40k's parameters. We're going to go ahead and do up this entire side as skin. And nudity in itself is a little bit empowering. I say a little bit because a lot of people do have reservations about nudity. They don't enjoy it. Me personally, I am of the belief that anybody can do anything that they want. Okay, so. We got most of the skin painted as of right now, and we're just still going through a good chunk of it. So, I'm just trying to get what's left of this arm here. There is just a little bit in between these bandages, which you want to make sure you get. Boop. let's hook around over here. There's a little bit of excess right here. So I think that's actually part of the cloth right there, so I'm not going to remove that. So we're just going to go through and on the underarm here. Make sure we get the underarm and the side breast here. And it looks like Victor has joined us.
I am here indeed.
So right now, Victor, I am painting a Deathcult assassin.
Indeed.
And what do you know of the Deathcult?
Well, considering the fact that there are a bunch of emperor-worshipping psychopaths, they fit perfectly into 40k. I'm trying to find their lore entry here. Let me see.
So, just trying to get these hands.
Found them. They used... Oh, strange. They put them in with the sisters.
Yeah, they are ecclesiarchy.
True. They did put them in the... No, it calls them the forces of the Adeptus Sororitas in the Imperial Agents book. They've split them even further in the latest index. Wanna hear the lore blurb?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, death cults can be found on many Imperial worlds, recruiting from sump blades and noble dilettantes alike. All that such cults ask is that their members exhibit exceptional skill with a blade and dedicate themselves with fanatical loyalty to the dictates of the cult forevermore. Though many death cults are chaos-spawned and lend servitude only to Khorne the Blood God, others are fanatically dedicated to the Imperial Creed and offer up those they slay to the Emperor, a partial payment of the blood debt that mankind owes him. The art of the blade is paramount to many death cult assassins. The different types of incisions, lacerations, and punctures, the weapon they are inflicted with, and the bodily location to which they are made, all have special significance when dedicating the victim's soul to the Emperor. Oh wow, they used to have weapons go 5, so they hit on 2s?
Yep.
Sweet. I wonder if they still hit on 2s. Want me to grab the index?
Yeah, go ahead.
To see the current stats for them. It's in the bookshelf, right?
Yes, it is. Or if not, it's right over here with the Sister Battle stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure we get in between on her hip. She's got hips for days. Holy cow. Alright. But yeah, Death Cultists. I really enjoy Death Cultists. I wish they were better on the tabletop. Strength 3 power weapons just don't really cut it. It's why I never take power weapons on my sisters unless I'm taking Bloody Rose. In which case, I usually take a chainsword anyway. And just go full melee with it. So we just got the skin painted up on here. This is just the basic skin. So, let's go ahead and clean my brush really quickly.
Here we go.
Let's resharpen it. And let's close this up. Next we're going to need a darker red. I'm thinking corn red, followed by a wash. Or we can do a light red followed by Caramel Crimson. I think that might be the best, so I'm going to grab my Caramel Crimson and probably Wezdaka. Nope, that's Evil Sons.
Isn't that a bit too light, or...?
The wash will darken it.
Fair enough.
And maybe a highlight of Wild Rider Red? Or, let's see, I have a bunch of choices. I could do Corn Red. I think that's a little too dark. So let's go ahead and check what options I have for reds. I do have Wezdaka Red. I think I'm going to do Wezdaka Red. Caramel Crimson. Evil Sons to lighten it up. And then Wild Rider for the edges. So some parts of her armor are actually gold, which is interesting. But we're going to be doing up this part right here as a red. So we're going to get some Wezdaka. Take a little tiny bit of this. As I said, a little tiny bit. We're going to get some water on our brush. Just spread that around just a bit. And it looks like her, in the artwork, this is gold. I don't like the idea that they walk around in too much gold. So I'm going to do this part as a red.
At least they have power heals.
A power heals, best heals.
Yeah. I need to check something out. Do you mind if I open up another window?
Yes, go ahead, of course.
Alright, so...
I'm going to make sure we get around that breast, which is very important. This way we can get the breast paint job we can get. It'll be the tits. I am not sorry about any of these puns.
No.
Just going ahead to make sure we get her corset nice and red on the one side, and then we'll do it again on the other. So now, let's move over to the other side. Just want to make sure we get this full edge here. I can clean this up in just a second. She looks like a go-go dancer. Okay, sorry, I am concentrating, so I'm not talking really.
Index Imperium 2. Does that contain...
There we go.
Do the points changes show up in...
Chapter approved?
Chapter approved?
No. Well, not chapter approved, the FAQs. No. Okay, so we did get that. Let's see, it looks like the lines in her waist are the same color. So we'll go ahead and get those. Trying to be extremely careful right here, because she is essentially wearing one heck of a sexy thong. I really like it.
Never mind, they have no rules changes, but I'm going to check.
Okay. Still trying to just catch that edge really, really carefully. And I messed up. Well, butts. Quite literally, I messed up on her butt.
Get wrecked.
So I went ahead and got the lines all fixed up. So this way we have her in her little rather sexy outfit. I actually do dig this outfit. Like, this is actually just flat out kind of sexy.
If you know you're into crazy death-worshipping fanatics, it's okay.
I mean, who isn't into crazy death-worshipping fanatics?
Yeah.
I mean, you are.
Yeah, true.
Alright, so next up I'm going to do some white going along this skirt. Make it look all nice and fancy.
Yeah.
So for that, what I'm thinking is... Colored witch flesh? No. Maybe Screamer Skull? Yeah, let's do Screamer Skull. No, that looks more yellow. No.
You just try the one.
Oh, White Scar. White Scar might look nice. No, my White Scar looks like garbage. You know what, I'm just going to throw this White Scar out. It's all, like, dried and everything. Lutheran Gray. This one needs to be shaken quite a bit. Nah. I think I'm actually going to cheat and use a third-party paint real quick. Just because my White Scar is bad. So I'm just going to use one of these, which is a dead white, which I honestly hate the game color paints. I think they're terrible. They always come up shiny for some reason, and they just look bad in general. But we're going to take a risk here. We're going to try it. In my opinion, they also don't spread as nicely as GW paints. Unless you like really water them down. So we're going to go ahead and do her skirt in this. Okay. right here. We're just going to go through each and every bit of this. And while we do, I think Victor wants to read the rules to the Deathcult.
Indeed. And I'm not sure they're worth the 17 points that they're being asked for. So, it goes thusly. It is, the Deathcult Assassin has Movement 7, Weapon Skill 3+, Ballistic Skill 4+, Strength 4, Toughness 3, 1 wound, 4 attacks, Leadership 7, and a 5+ save. They're armed with the Deathcult Power Blades, which is a Strength user, which is 3, Strength 3, AP -2, 1 damage.
Oh wow, they're worse than regular power swords.
Indeed. So, they also have the Salad rule, which lets them reroll failed hit rolls when they charge, make a heroic intervention, or charge an enemy unit.
Just for clarity, they can't actually perform a heroic intervention?
Because they're not characters, so yeah, that's a shame. They also have the Uncanny Reflexes, which gives them a 5+ invulnerable save.
They dodge as good as Genestealers.
Pretty much. So, yeah, and you have to take 2 for 34 points, which I would argue, not really worth it.
No, not really. They
Yeah,
are cool though.
They're cool, but they're just not worth the points.
No, without a doubt they're not.
I mean, Crusaders are way better. And
I think they're also cheaper.
let me see, I think they're... Let me see.
There we go. So now we got the skirt painted up. I'm going to do up this probably in a red as well, just to get that looking nice. And the sheaths, or the gauntlets, I'll probably do them up as a red as well to make this character a bit more red than normal. But I might add some gold. Victor, should I add gold?
I think you should. Gold is the color of winners, and they worship the Emperor, right?
Right?
I see you've, foregone the bodysuit. Body glove, I should say.
I mean, the weird thing is their body glove has cuts in it.
Yeah? Body gloves can have cuts in them.
Yeah, that made it silly, so I'm giving them skin.
Fair enough. They're pin-up Deathcult.
They're not pin-up.
Yeah, they are. Look at their pose.
No, they're definitely not pin-up.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if you laid her out on a couch like that, oh my god, I want to do that now.
Don't do that.
Oh my god, I need to model a couch, a green stuff couch for her. Paint me like one of your French assassins.
But yeah, looking at Crusaders, they only cost 11 points, and they have a 3+ invulnerable save.
Plus their power sword, plus their storm shield.
Yeah, their power swords are better.
They're 4 points apiece, and then the storm shield I think is 15.
Let me check.
I know they were pretty cheap.
I forget that the...
Remember, the rules from there have been updated.
I looked at the...
I think I'm going to make it brass.
I looked at the Deathcult Assassin, and their points and rules have not changed at all.
Well, no, War Gear's points have changed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we're going to instead make them brass.
Let's see. Storm shields are a special rule, not a weapon. You could get that for free. And their power swords cost 4 points, so they cost 15 a pop. So they are cheaper.
Yeah, overall, the Crusader just sounds better.
He does. He really does.
So we're just gonna paint the gauntlets to be brass. Cause I actually like brass a little bit more than gold.
Okay, this is annoying.
Okay.
You're right, Jacobus has a 4+ invulnerable saves, and Inquisitors don't.
Yeah, that's why we gave them an invulnerable save.
Yeah, man, Inquisition needs help. But hey, that's just me.
There we go. Let's go ahead and get the other side now. Making certain that we get just the gauntlet itself and not the ribbons on our hands. And then since these are power swords, I might add a little bit of a blue tint to them.
Yeah.
Or make them purple.
You could just put a blue wash in them. Shade, I should say.
Okay. And now we'll go back to red. To do up.
Oh yeah, did you mention where we got these?
Where did we get these ones?
We got these at the Geekery in Flagstaff.
Right.
Yeah.
Flagstaff, Arizona, the place that is amazing. That contains a person that is absolutely awesome, and I love them.
Yeah, for those who are interested, it's Mope.
Okay, we're just going to go ahead and do up the entire side of her mask really quickly. I feel like I should be painting this corn red because of Deathcult.
I mean, you can, but you don't have to.
There we go. There we go. Making sure to get all of her mask. And her mask actually goes all the way back to the back of her head. And that's where her dreads come out. Can we also talk about how she has dreads?
Does she?
Yeah.
I've seen them on the pictures.
Yeah, she has dreadlocks. Like, I guess it's supposed to be like braids, but it came out looking like dreadlocks.
Is that on the top of her hair?
No, it's like on the bottom. Right here. You'd have to come walking over here.
No, not worth it.
So we're just going to continue going around the base of the head, making sure we cover every piece of this. And then we have this arm, which is the same material. So we're going to go over that as well. There we go. So there's a lot to this stuff right here, so we're just going to get pretty much all of it. The red, which is not spreading for some reason. It's the one thing I hate about painting resin. It's really difficult because sometimes paint just does not like to stick to it. Even though I did wash this thing in its entirety, sometimes it just doesn't like to stick. Okay, so we're going to flip it over and get the other side of the arm. There we go. And now we have to be extra careful right here. So that we can go through and get all of these pieces without hitting those spots that have the skin tone on it. There we go. And now, I pretty much have to wait for all of this to dry. Make sure to get all of this. Okay. So while this all dries, I'm going to paint up the swords to be silver for a base. I'm going to paint this part here to be bronze. And then I'm going to wait for everything else to dry. So for you, this will be an instant. For me, this will be like 20 minutes. So we did all the red and everything. We got it all finished and everything. We got all the skin touched up. We got these side blades and everything all touched up. There's a little spot right here that I still missed. I gotta hit that with a little bit of black and that should be good. And then we're ready to move on to the hair. And once we do the hair, we're gonna move on to some washes. So I'm gonna do some more touch-ups on this thing off camera and then get right back to you. So now with her dry and some touch-ups being made, I think I didn't do the hair yet. I'm going to do the hair last because I'm still trying to pick out a hair color for her. Honestly, I'm thinking black. It's the easiest of hair colors to paint. So what I'm going to do now is start applying some of the shades. And I have two different to choose from. I have Seraphim Sepia and I have even more Seraphim Sepia. Put that one back. I thought I had Flesh Shade, so we're going to be using Seraphim Sepia because I personally like it a little bit more than Flesh Shade. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of it at a time and just go over all of the legs, making sure to highlight those cuts in her. Again, keep in mind these girls believe that their lives are blasphemy to the Emperor. I really like, and I'm trying to emphasize that in all the cuts. Let's make sure we go around this edge really quickly. Then we're going to go around the other leg. If I get this wash on the cloth itself, that's actually fine because I intend to wash that cloth with this paint anyway. So let's make sure we get her nice little keister in between all of those. I'm also going to make sure it doesn't pool up as much. I do want some pooling, especially on the scars and everything. But I don't want so much pooling that it starts looking really bad. So we're just going to try to pull that away. We're going to go around her breasts and her arms. Make sure we pull a good chunk of that away. Push this right up into her hair. Normally I hate getting it in the hair, but sometimes you just need to. Seraphim Sepia also works really well on brass, so we're actually going to go over the brass with it as well. Seraphim Sepia is essentially my Nolan oil. It is my god tier painting stuff. It makes all of my flesh tones look good and everything. So we're going to go around this arm, around that waist, all the way through, making sure we get the entire arm, the bracelet / gauntlet thing that she has going on. Make sure to get right around her cleavage, emphasizing that. Get her face to emphasize that. Get her eyeball. She only has one exposed eye, which is something we want to keep an eye on. Get it? Huh? Huh?
Boo.
Shush your face, Victor.
Boo, I say.
I want to make sure we get her hands. I'm going to use a little bit more on the hands than anything else, because without it you can't really see the fingers on these tiny models. Go ahead and just get all of this. Go right around into there. And with that, we got the skin pretty much done, which is good. Just circle around, make sure we haven't missed a spot. I'm going to spin the model just so I can see it at different angles and everything. Trying to get the face here. Get all the way into there. And just keep looking at it at different angles. Trying to emphasize every spot that we miss. Okay, and with that we got the skin done, which is really, really, really good. So now I'm going to wait for this to dry, which will be instantaneous for you in about 20 minutes for me. Okay, so now that this dried, I actually went ahead and put her on a base. I put her on a 32. Now a lot of you are probably like, Alexis, why did you put that on a 32? She goes on a 25. And to you I say, well, I'm pretty sure you didn't watch this video because earlier I said I'm putting them on a 32. For the most part, this model is just about done. I am going to go over the hair and go over the body right now. So what I'm going to do to go over the body is I'm going to take Carnival Crimson and go over all of the red with it. This will create a nice shade to go under the armor itself and to really emphasize the breaks in the armor, which is what we want. We want the armor to shine just a little bit, but still be dulled out just enough to be more 40k-esque. So I'm just going to take the Caribou Crimson and go over all of the red on here. Trying my hardest not to hit anything else with it. I'm not going to go over the belt buckles because there's a chance I can miss those. Nope, I actually hit them perfectly. Holy crap. I am more amazed at my own skill at that point. So we'll just go like this. Then we're going to look at these arms and this face and go over it. The mask itself. Going over that. Going over this piece. That piece and that piece. If you miss a couple of pieces, it's perfectly fine. It'll look good on the model regardless. So we're just going to get all of this right here in the back of her head for her death mask. Which I'm surprised the Deathcult assassins don't actually wear death masks. Really thought they would, but they're going for more of a early, I think 14th century flagellant type deal with them. I could be completely wrong on that, so if I am, I do apologize. So now we went over all the red. I am going to wait just a minute, but before that, I'm going to wait for that to dry before I go over it with the oranges and the other red. I am going to take this blue, which is Temple Guard blue, and this is how I actually do my power weapons now. I really, really, really like this weapon for Imperial power weapons. I just try to catch an edge and do along an edge right at the top, just to make the blade look like it's actually activating. And up at the top of the blade, it's going full blue to show that it is in fact a power weapon. So we're going to do this on both sides of the blade. And then I'm going to wait for that to dry just a little bit. So that's how it looks right now. I think it's coming out pretty good. I still haven't determined what color I want for the hair. It's my problem. We're going to go over that blue with a Dragunov Nightshade. God, GW needs to come up with like easier to say names.
What do you mean? It's just where Manfred von Karstein used to live.
Oh yeah, you know, just Manfred von
Yeah,
That's where he lived. That is common knowledge for everybody.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody should know that.
If you're a nerd.
Next thing I'm going to do is I want to take a little bit of gray and go over the boots themselves. But to do that, I'm going to use Uthan Gray, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of Abaddon Black just to get a slightly darker coat for what I want. Again, doing this is very difficult because Abaddon Black is very, very, very dark. So we're going to take a tiny bit of it, and we're going to take a tiny bit of this. A little bit more gray. Now the one thing about the Uthran Gray is it's a little bit blue, but I think that's okay. Take a lot of it off of our paintbrush, and we're just going to take a tiny bit of it because all we have is heels. We're just going to go right around the heel itself to emphasize that it is in fact a heel. Okay, I'm just going right around the edges here. Okay, and then on the other shoe, go right around. Going around it. There we go. So it's not perfect. I am not perfect, but that's pretty much it. Should look okay. Alrighty. Then we're done with that. I'm going to clean my brush really quickly.
Hey babe.
Yes.
What about putting, you know, since they have cuts on their legs and other stuff, how about putting a tiny bit of red wash in there?
The problem with that, without using any of the technical colors for it,
Yeah.
it comes out looking really childish.
Right.
Now, the reason that I use the wash to actually fill it is because it looks like a deeper gash into their body,
Right.
or an actual scar.
Right, so you need blood for the blood god then.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think I have that back home.
More than likely.
I have a lot of paint back home.
So I'm going to say that that's good. Shake up my wash really quickly. And we're going to take a tiny bit of this wash. Just the tiniest of bits. And we're going to go over the top of the sword here. Just to create this power-like effect. And with that, we get that kind of look, which is still sort of, it's a little bit darker than I was expecting. I'm going to have to pull off a little bit of it. And with that, I'll actually go back to this. And I'll just highlight it again. There we go. That looks much better. Okay, so she has her power swords active. Ah, I missed. Go. Go. Boop. Alrighty. So, only thing left for this model, in my opinion, is a little bit of highlighting, but I kind of don't really want to do that all too much. So I think I'm going to skip and go straight to the orange. I want to try something. I'm going to take the tiniest of bits. I'm going to emphasize just tiny, tiny little pieces of her. Okay, just again, the minute little tiny highlights. That is it. One thing I will be making orange is her bionic eye. So I will just be using a little tiny dot. And we will immediately mess it up. That's exactly what we were going for. Darn it. Okay, hang on. I gotta go back to that red really quickly and fill that back in. Otherwise it will mess up. And I kind of don't want that. So I'm gonna go back and I'm just gonna... There we go. That is probably all the highlighting that I want. It's just a tiny, 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 almost unnoticeable highlight, but it'll really add a lot in pictures and everything. So that is a Deathcult assassin. I personally think she came out really, really, really well. I still have to do some highlighting and I still have to do the hair, but I'll do the hair on my own time. Once I figure out what hair color I actually want, I'm thinking it's just going to be black. More than likely, it's just going to be black. Actually, it's just going to be black. Yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed this little Rants and Rambles. I really enjoyed painting this, and I have a second one to actually go through in just a minute. And I'll probably paint these on my own, this one on my own, and go from there. So, I hope you enjoyed. As always, I'm NornQueenAlexis. If you want to follow me on social media, all of my links are in the description down below. You can also follow me on Patreon. It goes a long way to helping out the channel. It gets me cool models like this to help me paint on the stream itself and just to genuinely, you know, expand the channel and everything. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Love you guys. Bye.